Everyone, Stephen Benoit Jericho here from the Hybrid Origins, episode 4. We've got a very special guest. This man is one of the most creative and innovative owners in eFed history as far as I've seen. This man goes back from having a rather hardcore in-ring career and to owning his own company. This is John Proda, everyone, or JP for those that know him personally. Proda, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Benoit? Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you on, definitely. I know some people aren't very comfortable with being gassed up, as they say, so much with an interview, but you truly have done some of the more innovative and creative storylines and things in your Fed. But what we're doing today is we want to go back a little bit deeper. We want to delve in to how Jonathan Proda got in to this industry. Now, I know a little bit about it, where your start is, because I've been following you a little bit longer than some people have. So let's go back to, you started off in a manager role. That was basically your first break-in into the eFed world. So let's start there. That's the very beginning. So
Right. Yeah, I started in UCW. Wouldn't you say more of like a manager, more of maybe a scout. Started scouting out people for UCW with Louis Trambriello. Shout out to UCW. That's where I started, and that's where I started evolving, helping him out. Then I created like another branch of UCW, ECCW Gore, which was more hardcore stuff, some bloody stuff, things you want to see like from ECW and stuff like that. But it was still just a broadcast, Sometimes there would be commentary, sometimes not. It wasn't like the show I do today, but back then, started scouting out talent like Brute Pain, a couple of others, and then after a while of being in ECCW Gore, I wanted to do my own thing. I thought I could bring a lot more to the table and make shows more interesting. And I had several shows I was working on with like a period of 2 or 3 weeks each. One was Drunk Wrestling. One was, I don't even remember the name, but it was like test shows. And then I just, like a spidey sense went into my head and I said, hey, what about something called Lit Wrestling? And it was at the time where the word lit was being thrown around a lot. It was becoming very popular. And I just decided from watching other people's shows and looking at what the other shows lacked, that I would put this into a show and make the show as realistic as possible, Try to talk as realistic as possible and make people believe what's going on in the ring is really happening. And maybe after a match, like a commercial will come on, or an ad, or a venue, or not a venue, a vignette. Something that would keep the watcher wanting to watch more and say, what the hell is this? This is interesting. I've never seen something like this. So that's pretty much, got into Lit Wrestling. And I had a great run with Lit, 2 years. And I'm just happy to be here with you guys. Ran into a lot of great people, IWA, CSWA, APW, UCW, the list goes on and on. Some PvP companies like Overload I work with. Some promo leagues, I won't mention anything because, some things are kept better as a secret. But I've evolved throughout the virtual world, if you want to call it. There's a lot of names for it. eFeds, promo leagues, it's the virtual world. And I want to keep on evolving and keep on growing Lit Wrestling so it can turn into the most known show around all of the virtual leagues.
So for those of you who are just tuning in here, make sure you click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Jonathan Proda, the owner of Lit Wrestling, is here on the mic with us. If you are a member of Lit, make sure you let us know you're there supporting your boss. Throw that like on there, say hello in comments, ask a question if you have one for JP here. I know he doesn't have a lot of time because he is very busy working on Lit. They're getting ready for the next episode. So, Mr. Proda, we know that you've had a little bit of an in-ring career as well. So let's go to that a little bit before we delve too deep into your actual show. So your in-ring career, is there a specific wrestler that you like, a favorite feud or a favorite match that stands out? Um, is there any that come to mind from your
Sure.
in-ring career?
I had a feud with Triple H. Now, and that's from, WWE. It's a little storyline I had on Lit. Certain matches would come on, and, I guess he would send some of his people from the locker room to interrupt the match. Like one time there was a match, I think Macho Santos, the former champion of Lit, was involved, and Matt Hardy came and interrupted the match. And I took that offensive because I took it as like Triple H was trying to cock block Lit Wrestling because we may have gotten to the point where we're more interesting than they are. So, me being a hothead, I challenged him to a match, and I didn't think he would show up to the arena, and he showed up, and he kicked my ass. But I will always remember that match. Yeah.
Now, there's a lot. I remember that storyline as well, and there's a lot of speculation going around that Lit Wrestling is one of the direct reasons that the WWE had to close their doors a year and a half ago. Do you buy into that? Do you think that your show was one of the reasons why they had to close their doors?
Absolutely not. The WWE is a very powerful organization, and independent promotion like Lit Wrestling should never be a threat to them. Maybe they use that as an excuse, but after the match with me and Triple H, and a few months later, we pretty much buried the hatchet and, even kind of started working together. They allowing me to use certain arenas of theirs to do my shows, especially because of the situation with the sickness around now. I had to work special things with WWE for them to let me use their certain arenas.
Their filtered facilities and such, and their cleaning apparatuses. I get you. HWA
Exactly.
has tapped into that as well. So I just want to make sure we're seeing the fans here. Those that are on here, make sure you hit that like button. I see you writing there. So let me take a look at what's going on here. We have the Lone Punk is in the building, part of your Lit show. New Breed Universe. We've got the Slasher Cameron. I'm not exactly sure who you are, sir, so throw your cause name out there. As far as New Breed Universe goes, if you look on YouTube, their channel, I believe, is Lit Wrestling on YouTube, correct, JP?
Right.
So
Yes.
yes, look up Lit Wrestling on YouTube. Plus, you can probably reach over and follow their Facebook page, which again is just Lit Wrestling, correct?
Yes, the page would be called. I'm sure it'd be Lit Wrestling 2020.
Sorry about that, Rio. I have a couple people that are close to that same name, New Breed Universe, and there's a couple that are close, so I apologize there, Mr. Rio. But definitely, Proda, if you have not seen Lit Wrestling yet, anyone watching, so you've got one of my two favorite shows. I don't know which I like more and which is better, but they're different feel than I usually see, because I like watching a little bit of the standard programming, and then sometimes I get to just have my once a month fix of that more
Right.
fantasy and no telling what's going to happen. So that's where I was going. You one of the more innovative shows out there because there's no telling what's going to happen. I watched a show recently where you have Cruella fighting
Right.
in what, an intergender division, correct? Where she fights men one
Yes.
on one and everything. And during one
Yes.
show, she took um, Dick and she opened up some magic spell book and basically brought him to an alternate universe, or was it even hell? And
Yeah,
then
she took him to
there's
hell.
the creator is in there, and we just talked to Robbie Regal. So there's all kinds of things, and peacocks fighting chickens, and just there's no telling what's going to go on, and the monsters that are on this show. So, and it's all done very well, folks. Like, it's is great. Um, Max Fatal's show that he does throughout there. I don't know if you still have done that. I didn't watch the last episode, honestly, but he has a little side broadcast that are usually in the lit shows. It's just great stuff, people. So hit that like button on there. Make sure you go check him out on
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but it popped up some signs saying that you couldn't get on there. But all right. So your favorite in-ring feud, we're back to that, was with Triple H from the WWE, and we know the outcome of that. I don't see it often, but you got your. I apologize, Mrs. Jericho, but you got your ass beat, basically.
Yes, I did. I got my
So,
ass handed to me.
so you say you started this with Louis C over it, or I can never pronounce his last name, but Louis C over in UCW,
Yes.
and a lot of people actually started over there between UCW and IWA. I know, like Devil Dog, you were very intricate in his career starting between you and I don't know what the relationship is with Ricky Armstrong anymore between you guys.
Right.
But I know that
Ricky Armstrong is a Hall of Famer in lit wrestling, the longest reigning cage champion. He's done his time in lit wrestling. So much respect to Ricky Armstrong.
beautiful there. See, this is another reason why hybrid is called hybrid. We do the best we can to maybe bring some of these companies together that don't always see eye to eye and wrestlers and introduce people to each other. So that's great. I know Lone Punk has a question coming up, so we'll shoot that. But I just wanted to give a little bit of shout outs to some of the guys that you started your career with, like Lugo and Louis C. You had Killswitch Joe. The early days you had Colt Shields over there. That's Brett Kelly and all these
Right.
guys. So kind of a great launching pad for a lot of careers over there with UCW, and you'll see a lot of those same faces in lit. So you very much stay loyal to the people that you've come up with, and I love seeing that. That
Yes.
doesn't happen all the time. Um,
I'm pretty
so
much a loyal guy. If you're loyal to me, I'll be loyal to you.
sounds good. That's sort of living by the golden rule. So, just this may be just my opinion, but I watch lit, and I have for a while. Even um, the early stages, I pop in now and then as you're sort of developing your formula. Um, Now, kind of like mainstreamers, for those of you that haven't watched very much, to compare to like a mainstream show, I feel little pieces of like Lucha Underground or something like that in there. Who did you take influence from more?
Well, that's definitely one of the brands that influenced me a little. I actually had a little sideshow called Mundo de Lucha. I made like maybe one or two episodes of it, but it never took off because I would have to do commentary in Spanish. And yes, I am fluent in Spanish and English, but when you're talking straight Spanish for 3 hours,
And there
So,
was what Luz in Fuego or something like that was a show that you've done over there too, right?
yeah, it was an influence, and the Mayan American Championship came from Mundo de Lucha. So I kind of brung it to lit, with the Lucha and Fuego episodes, and I haven't done one of those in a while, but maybe coming back in the next season. You never know. But
There's a
yeah,
lot of colorful characters in there. I remember watching those. So the Lone Punk is on here, and I'm assuming this is a question asking about lit specifically. So the Lone Punk wants to know what your favorite pay per view from 2020 was, and we'll keep this with through the lit show.
my favorite lit pay-per-view.
Correct, of 2020.
Well, there was a lot of good ones. Uh, kind of like the Immortal. Immortal came out on Halloween night. It was very good. It was the night that Riley Saint joined Body Count. It was the night where I joined the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. It was just one hell of a show where things just kept popping up and things just kept happening. Things started to unveil, and it was one hell of a show.
Now, something that I was kind of curious of, after you got turned into a dog,
Yeah.
did you have to
Yeah.
go in and get like some sort of rabies shots or flea bath or anything like that to
I mean, they gave me the whole nine: flea bath, rabies shots. You know, they kept sticking me with these things, with more needles. I don't know for what they need all this blood for, but the creator, he's an asshole for turning me into a dog, and I'll never forget it. You know, I have not forgiven him, but we can get past it. But I'll just never forget it. He turned me into a dog, and that's something that you just can't look past. But thankfully, I'm back to normal, and I'm here to create more shows for everyone, because dogs don't have opposable thumbs, and it would be very hard to edit a show.
I was wondering how that happened, but luckily it was just you created a show and did all the behind the scene things before you got turned into a dog. So, thankful
Right.
for that. I know all of us fans appreciate that. Now, I have a question too.
Sure.
The chicken, is it a man in a chicken suit, or is it something that like the creator concocted? And again, those of you tuning in, Jonathan Proda on here, maybe it's a turkey. Is it a turkey or a chicken? Lone Punk says turkey.
I think it's like a hybrid, if you ask me. There's a lot of similarities of both. Personally, I don't know who the hell is under the chicken suit or mask, or if it's an actual chicken. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully, on the next show, which is Lit End of the Line, we just may find out, because the chicken, since he arrived to Lit, has always been targeting Max Steel for some reason. He's always interrupted his matches. He cost him his match in the tournament, in the Lit versus Overlord tournament. Overload, excuse me. So the chickens is pretty much targeted Max Steel, and Steel is gonna get a chance to get his hands on the feathers of that chicken. So hopefully we'll find out.
Maybe we can have him pull the mask off that guy, or see if it is a mask. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I'm hoping so.
So lately, there's been a bunch of. It seems like everyone on the roster, whether they know why they're doing it or not, has been posting pictures of a guy with an ice cream cone.
Yes.
Towards the Lone Punk. Now the Lone Punk has another question. He wants to know, who is the ice cream guy? Is that something that we can have answered here, or does that need to go to stay tuned and watch as well?
I'm thinking that maybe stay tuned and watch, because we haven't even seen an actual person come from that. I think it started out with a video on the Lit Come Up, and it was a creepy video, if you ask me. And it just turned to ice cream, but obviously, whoever it is has a hell of a relationship with ice cream. And hopefully, the Lone Punk, his next match is against Macho Santos at the end of the line.
Good
And
luck.
I'm not sure if Macho's a fan of ice cream, but I'm counting that Macho's not behind the ice cream cones. I'm just gonna say that.
I see Macho Santos being more of a frozen yogurt guy myself.
Yeah,
I don't
maybe
know
a
about gelato. Yeah, gelato is another one. Macho doesn't look like he's a guy that really eats, actual ice cream. His body is definitely kind of a temple. I'm pretty sure that his biceps are probably bigger than my screen here in my studio.
Right.
Lone
Macho's
Punk,
a Mayan god.
no doubt. And that hair is a thing of beauty. Of course, I don't have any of it, so I'm kind of in awe of that. I had Robbie Regal on recently too. Another, I know he was in other shows beforehand, but to me, when I think of Robbie Regal, now I think of Lit. Definitely kind of an odd personality there. And
Very.
I won't even get in. Lone Punk says, "Don't mock my hair." Um, I don't want to get into that. Um, I don't know what early '80s punk mohawk style blue weird stuff that he's got going on there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
I don't
definitely has his
know.
own style.
It's not for me, you know. Um,
Right. I
so
can't pull it off.
he mentioned a lot about Lit Law. That show meant a lot to him apparently. Um,
Right.
and I want. Do you have big plans moving forward for Robbie? Is what I'm saying because he's a very intriguing character.
Of course. I have huge plans for Robbie. And everybody will just have to tune in to find out what those huge plans are. I mean, how can you hear a guy on the mic like that and not expect him to go places? He's already a star. He just needs the right person behind him or the right persons. That's all I'm gonna say about Robbie.
Yeah, definitely should be intrigued, people. So make sure you get over there if you haven't already. Go to Lit Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe, watch some of the videos, get a little caught up. The episodes are long, folks, but it's worth watching. Sit there, watch some of it, then go back after when you get a chance. Definitely, it's one of those shows that. Um, so we'll put it this way about your show. A lot of people tune in to other shows just to watch their favorite superstar wrestle in whatever match he has.
Right.
So Lit isn't like that, folks. Lit is one of those shows that makes you want to watch it start to finish. Um,
Right.
there are not a lot of shows out there, so I commend you again for that. I know me being part of HWA, I definitely have taken a lot of influence on how you do things, just in a way smaller program. So
Right.
definitely shout out to you for that. You were definitely a huge influence on a lot of how HWA tries to run a little bit. So, um,
Thank you.
all right. So
Appreciate that.
moving forward, we are at like 23 minutes. I know you didn't have too much time, so let's talk a little bit in the future for Jonathan Proda here. What do you see? Like, do you have any specific goals in mind, or anything that you are specifically excited about coming up in your career?
I maybe want to focus on creating maybe lit movies. You know,
We
maybe on
saw a little bit of that with your friend Matt Steffi. Is that how you
yeah.
pronounce his last name?
Yes, big shout out to UWA. Matt Steffi helps a lot with lit some certain lit productions and certain lit matches that go on. He puts in his part of the work. He may not like because lit needs a lot of promos from people. Well, not really a lot, but we ask for promos. Maybe one promo, maybe two promos a month. That's it. You know. So Matt Steffi may not do a lot of that, but he does a lot of production work, and he does like cinematic scenes and stuff like that. Very interesting, very comedic stuff that adds to a level of comedic value to lit wrestling. And I appreciate that. So shout out to UWA and Matt Steffi.
So IWA, that's James Seal, jumped in here and said another great episode of Origins. So showing his appreciation to you being on here. I mentioned IWA earlier. A lot of people that are on this sort of side of territories got a start there between IWA and UCW. Um, and
Right.
someone very close to me, Devil Dog, you gave him probably one of the bigger boosts in his career. I know he owes you a lot of showing him a better way because he was feeling a little bit stale, and then you pulled him in and actually drafted him to ECCW Gore,
Right.
and his career took off from there. Um, I've been very close to Devil Dog, so definitely he appreciates that. He's mentioned you several times, and we have too. So, and apparently Lone Punk is not a fan of Devil Dog, but a lot of people aren't because he spends a lot of time kicking their asses. So, I just wanted to give that little thank you. Devil Dog is, yet again he coming back from another injury. It seems ever since he decides to be a good guy, he gets injured all the time. Over in Extreme Virtual Pro Wrestling now, getting power bombed onto the apron. But maybe he should go back to his lit roots and go a little more heelish because he never used to get injured over there.
Well, Devil Dog's a Hall of Famer on lit also with Gonzo, the Surplus Marines. They fought monsters, they fought everyone. They're in the books on lit as well. And Devil Dog right now is back and forth with lit. Right now he's made a comeback for quite some time, and he's gonna go for the YouTube Television Championship at lit end of the line against Marcus Jackson, and we will see how that goes for the Devil Dog. But Devil Dog is great relationship with Devil Dog. Glad to have him back on lit.
Now, Marcus Jackson, internet champion, correct? Now, YouTube champion. We don't see a lot of Marcus Jackson because he's primarily through Twitter, correct?
Yes.
So, folks, make sure if you want to see more of Marcus Jackson and interested in him, you've probably seen a little bit of him if you follow Lit, but you want to check him out. That way you know who Devil Dog is fighting for that YouTube title. Surplus Marines are also IWA Hall of Famers. That is coming from James Seal. That's pretty good to know. They really weren't around for a long time, to be honest, only a couple years. So it's nice to see that impact that they had in such a short time. Now, JP, do you have any kind of closing words or any other things specifically that you want to talk about while you're on here? I don't want to rush you out, but
would like to say to obviously stay tuned, subscribe, like, and share. Stay humble. A lot of people in this E-Fed world, I don't know, walk around cocky, think they're better than everyone. If you want to become something, humble yourself. Learn to work well with others. Stop thinking you're better. Stop thinking you deserve to be on a platform, but you can't even do a promo worth watching. Humble yourself and be a team player and do what's best for the show. Because if the show does well, then you do well. If the show doesn't do well and nobody's watching, how in the hell somebody's going to notice you?
Good words there. Definitely, I agree. Earn your shots. You're not going to get handed the opportunities. You've got to put in work. You've got to do quality work at it. Get better. If you don't think that you're good at what you do yet, as long as you are reaching out and trying to get better, asking questions, trying new things. If you usually just do written, do a voice spot here and there. Try a little short 2-minute video just to try to get yourself out there and get better. And YouTube creators, showrunners such as Jonathan Proda, they notice and they appreciate that. So even if you're not going over and winning titles, you end up getting put in different spots that get you, noticed more and get you pushed. So make sure you take his advice and you do that. In this show, it's all about community, everyone. I'd like to see a little more involvement between different companies and things like that. So I appreciate you, JP, coming on here. I look forward to the next Lit shows coming up. Those of you watching, hit that like button and go check out Lit Wrestling. Look at their Facebook page and their YouTube channel. Hit subscribe and watch some of his stuff. If that's all you've got, JP, we'll close this out. We're hitting right at the just over 30-minute mark, so good timing. I know you've got a lot of stuff to do for the next Lit episode. Yes. What is the next episode, and when is it going to be aired?
Well, Lit End of the Line will be towards the end of this month. I never have a specific date due to editing reasons, and things could mess up, and I don't want to have somebody waiting, and things happen. So maybe towards the end of this month, well, definitely towards the end of this month, and I may have a little surprise for everyone before that. So just stay tuned.
We talking
Great to be here.
after Christmas. We can look forward to the end of the line.
Yes, definitely after Christmas.
All right, beautiful. Folks, if you liked what you heard here, if you enjoyed the interview, episode 4 here with Jonathan Proda, hit that like button. If you guys are lit or interested in checking it out, hit that like button as well. Shoot it in the comments. Tell me who you are through Facebook, and I can link you up with JP and his Facebook page. That's it. On behalf of the Hybrid Wrestling Alliance, this is Stephen Benoit Jericho. Have a great rest of your day, and if I don't see you beforehand, happy holidays, everybody.